As far as my early years growing up, hard life. Moved a lot, a lot. You know, I went to 5 different high schools in 4 years. I did get into a few colleges and stuff like that, but I didn't have any money. I said I'm going to join the Marine Corps because I can go into the service and I can, how do I say, I can serve my time. When I get out of the Marine Corps, then I will have the advantages of a veteran and I can pay for my own school. I don't have to ask anybody for shit. I volunteered for Vietnam. I wanted to know what war was like. And I wanted to know how I would do. Here, I used to smile a lot, talk a lot. The words would roll off my tongue. You know, I was quick-witted and whatever here and that, you know? And here, okay, here, this is after I had led platoons in combat. And sometimes when I made a decision, people died.
First you experience a traumatic event, and a traumatic event being not like, oh, it was traumatic for me not to get to the store on time, but people use that word a lot. But I'd say it overwhelms your psychological and emotional resources, and that your response would be intense helplessness and fear.
We were on the trail coming out of the mountains, and my platoon had point for the first part of the morning. We could hear the firing, and then you could hear the Marines firing back, and you could hear the guns talking, and it was sustained fire. And I come through a hedgerow. I stop because something went right, and I just didn't know exactly what it was, but something stopped me. And I stopped, and I'm kind of crouching, I'm kind of looking forward, and then the point man from the other squad gets close to me, you know, and so he's right there. You know, he should have stayed. When I stopped, he should have stopped. He should have stopped where he was, but he didn't. He kept coming, so we're bunched up. All of a sudden, a round comes out. It was a tracer that I saw. Boom! It hits him right in the head. And it wasn't more than like 20, 30 yards in it, because I could see where the fire came from. And so he's hit in the head, and it's like all that stuff splattering over me. I hit the ground, and my body's paralyzed.
Again, the core of the PTSD is helplessness and vulnerability. The way you get out of feeling that way is by being the destroyer, right? Like, I don't feel helpless if I'm rampaging, right?
So I started going to the village, and I started having problems with this one young lady. I don't know why. And there was one time we got in an altercation about a pen. It was a U.S. government pen. I almost killed her. I put the round into the chamber, and I did that, and I caught myself. I had pulled the slack up, and a little bit more, that rifle's going to fire. And I caught myself, Darwin, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I walked away. And that's what saved me. I'm telling you this because I feel guilty. I've carried that with me for many years. I almost killed 2 people. I didn't kill them, but I almost. It was so close. I went to sick bay, and I said, something's wrong with me. I told him it was my ears, but it's my head.
I think it's normal to be affected by traumatic events. I think the thing that's really screwed up is the events themselves. It's just like all of us, when we're little kids, you may have memories of your mom baking bread, and when you smell something, it comes back so vividly. Well, it's even encoded more powerfully in our brains if it's associated with danger.
I tried to forget all of this stuff. I worked hard. I went to the university. I got myself a degree in economics. I worked full time. I worked my way up the corporate ladder. I worked my way up. I felt that I had this, and even now, that there's this darkness inside of me. And I have these feelings. I have the dreams. I have the dreams of running.
The other symptom cluster is the re-experiencing, right? The nightmares, flashbacks, feeling as if it's occurring, reoccurring, actually what's happening. It's actually a dissociative state.
I was on the board of directors of a private school, and we had a fundraiser event. It was some kind of a gala and whatever. So they got all these people sitting around. They have the dinner and they have the food. I have my wife with me. And it hit me. I'm there, but I'm not there. I remember sitting on a hill in Vietnam. I mean, you can sit on a hill and you can see all around you, and there's no one firing at you, and it's real peaceful. And I said, I could stay on this hill forever.
We re-experience the event, which makes us feel really uncomfortable and frightened and terrified, which makes all those arousal symptoms happen, right?
And and it's like my world's falling apart. And so my world fell apart around 59, 60 years old, and it crashed. And I said, it's like, okay, I got a DUI, I got this, I got that, and whatever, I can't get along at work, and whatever here now, and I want to kill people, and what's wrong with me?
I've asked guys who are like, well, how do I get rid of this? And I'm like, well, how do you unadapt?
And people can push me now. They can push me now. A little thing, and that anger just comes up, and it comes over, and I'll do the same thing to them. I'll kill them. And so I have to watch myself. And I wasn't like that before. It wasn't like that before I went on all those operations. I wasn't that kind of person.
Some guys, like you met with, like Darwin, right? He still carries that around with him very strongly, right? But he can talk about it. He can tolerate it. In some ways, it's become easier, like burden to carry, because you can't get rid of it. I mean, you can't. How would you forget those things? In some ways, why would you want to forget them? I mean, in some ways, he's honoring the guys he served with by remembering it. It's a weird kind of dual thing together.
I mean, everybody changes when they grow up and they mature and stuff like that here and that, At that time, I believed in the things. I had hope. And I don't have that anymore.